Another goal I have written down is a sub 3 hour marathon.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom,
Come on, Cameron! Go, Cam!
got that. Boom, 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 boom. And now I'm in her room. Boom, 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 boom. We on that boom, 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 boom. Come get that. Come get that. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Come get that. Tossing her like enchilada. She took my whole enchilada. What you need, I got a lot of. Make her sing like la di da da, bitch. On my mama, I ain't gonna stop until I'm rich. Got that money.
Today we're going to be talking about my trip to Napier, New Zealand to run the Hawke's Bay Marathon. So let's see how we did. I woke up at 4:45 in the morning. I like to wake up early just to get the food in my system and to relieve the nerves, I should say. So what did I have for breakfast? I had a banana and an OSM bar. It was really just something to get energy in. I don't like upsetting my gut too much and overloading, but I guess I don't take in as much as I think I do because I feel like I may have underfueled a little bit. So what else did I do in the morning? Part of relieving myself is absolutely destroying the toilet. That bathroom stunk so bad. I tried taking a cool selfie before my race and I thought I looked cool until I looked back at the photos. We drove to the start line at 7 a.m. The race started at 8:20 a.m. We got to Anderson Park with heaps of time to spare. I really wanted to have enough time to let the nerves rest and just be very present at the start line just to make sure I was comfortable. Sitting around for about 20-25 minutes, I went for some strides, ran around the park a little bit, and then we filmed my TikTok. This is me before my marathon. And then we took to the start line. Rowing up for the race is really intimidating because I always feel like I'm standing way too close to the front. Yeah, I always find there's overconfident people at the start line of a marathon. That's not to put anyone down per se, but that is just that's just a mental note I take because I always try to position myself a little bit further ahead. It's a lot more difficult when you have people in the way than it is to be the person in the way. I positioned myself, I thought I was way too close to the front. It turns out I was exactly where I needed to be.
Yeah, let's go, Cam. Let's go, mate.
Because I found my group of people. We were all sort of pacing for that sub 3 range. Paced very well for the first 15 kilometers or so. I was pretty confident with those guys until I felt like we were dropping the pace a little bit. So I took off with I was with another couple guys for about the next 10K.
Good job, Cam. Half distance here, mate. Keep it up.
It was quite boring because the course was along the beachfront. It was very beautiful. It was so nice to look at, but it was just a straight line. Beach on one side, grass on the other, because it was like grass and then houses, but everything looked the same. Not that I was looking around too much because I really wanted to lock in.
Here we go, Cam. Here we go.
It all felt the exact same for quite some time. And then get to this aid station. I think it was a little bit over the 30K mark-ish. There was no one there handing out cups. Now, maybe I'm a little bit privileged here, having people hand out my cups, but it is so inconvenient to actively look in the cup, see if it's electrolytes or water or whatever's in the cup. The aid station mixes of electrolytes tasted so gross. It tastes like dirty water. It tastes like someone has just put their fingers in it. It is really gross. I don't know if that's just me, but it is not very nice. So as we get on with the race, the heat started to pick up quite a bit. I started to feel a little bit fatigued, but as we were coming into that final 10K or so, I felt pretty excited. I almost got too excited because I didn't realize that 10 kilometers was still maybe like 40 minutes or so. So there's a lot that can go wrong in that 40 minutes.
Let's go, Cam. Let's go. Single digits now, brother. Let's go. Take it in.
There's been a bit of a theme, is that I would stick with the group, would pace well, and then I felt like they were losing pace and I need to keep going faster. The final 5 to 6K was a struggle because there were a lot of walkers and a lot of people slowing off and stopping. Something about seeing walkers, very demotivating. it looks so enticing. You just feel like, oh, everyone else around me is walking, so it's not too bad if I slow down a little bit. Running in and out of walkers, it's very off-putting. In the last it must have been about 2K to the finish line, both of my calves cramped up so bad to the point where I felt like I couldn't run anymore. Yeah, so I was stamping out my legs trying to just get some blood flowing through my calves, and that worked because I felt the cramp slowly start to leave, which was so nice. It was very refreshing, but it was a lingering pain. Like, I was quite tight in the shoulders. My body was just slowly getting more and more sore and ready to finish. So thankfully that happened closer to the finish line, because if I was having those troubles back at like the 30K mark, I would have been in big trouble.
Yes, kid! Yes, boy!
How do I describe the finish line feeling at Hawke's Bay Marathon? I would say I really wanted to cry. I knew I shouldn't cry because I'm not a very good looking crier. I really wanted some nice finisher photos. I couldn't cry anyway. I literally was so dehydrated, my tears weren't coming out of my eyes. There was a lot of emotion coming to that finish line. I think one thing I didn't realize was how close I was to going over 3 hours again. And again, it was the last few Ks of struggle that had soured my run a little bit. I was on pace for maybe 4 minutes or so, under 3 hours. Something to work on for next time. I felt like I had enough fitness. I felt like I didn't fuel correctly for the weather and for the day of the race. I felt like I needed more salt. I needed more hydration, carbohydrates in the drink mix. I needed my own drink mix, that sort of stuff. And I felt like that would have given me the edge to stay on pace that I'd set for myself throughout the race. Unfortunately for me, outside of that one little water station at the finish, there was nowhere else to get water from, because it finished at a winery, so there was lots of alcohol and wine tasting stuff. But I mean, I just finished a marathon. That's the last thing I want. My stomach was a little bit upset. I felt a little bit nauseous, but I felt like once I sat down I would feel better. So my stomach cramped, and then I turned over to my hands and knees and proceeded to projectile vomit. It was cartoonish the way it just splashed out my mouth. I had to get my girlfriend and my friend Mitchell. I had to put my arms around them and walk over to the medical tent. But on our way there were so many people at the finish area. I was audibly dry heaving. It was quite disgusting and embarrassing, but I felt like one of those videos that you see from people in New York where they try to get a seat on the subway. But then there was just like old dudes and little kids that just weren't getting the message, and I felt like I was almost about to throw up on these people. We got to the med tent, they gave me a bottle of water and I drank that pretty quickly. That was it. I was back out of water again. I still wasn't feeling good. We wanted to leave the race and go back to the motel. What I was very unaware of was the walk from the race area to the charter buses being about a 1 kilometer walk. And this wasn't a flat walk by any means. There was 2 little hills on the way. But we got to the charter bus, we sat down, and there's a lot of people on the charter bus. It is full, and we're all sweaty, we're all hot, we all stink, and for some reason the bus didn't have AC. Now, I wasn't fully comfortable with this bus arrangement. It was very warm. Like, there was no cool air in that bus whatsoever. It was quite gross. So maybe about halfway through the bus ride back, I started to go quite white in the face. I started to feel quite faint. Luckily, these 2 lovely ladies in front of us had a bottle of water. Apparently, I must have looked quite bad, because then they got up and asked the bus driver if the bus driver could pull off to let me off and get some fresh air before I inevitably fainted on the bus. The bus driver stopped in this little ditch, and it was just loose gravel, so I was sliding down this ditch, trying not to faint. I managed to get back on the bus feeling alright. Literally just needed fresh air. It took about another 10 minutes to get back to the car park for us to then find our car, to go back to the motel, to have a shower, reset. We went back home the same day after the race. So what were my biggest takeaways from race day? I would say my biggest takeaways were fueling, bringing extra fuel to the race start, sort of adjusting, seeing what the weather would be like the day before, because if it's super hot, I'll be sweating out a little, I'll be using a little bit more energy in the heat, so to take on a little bit more fuel. Overall, I was pretty happy with my race performance. I would say that I gave it what I could on the day. I feel like I could go a little bit faster, and I feel like going for a Boston qualifying time would be my next goal, which would be a sub 2:55 marathon. That's a nice time goal to go for. I would also consider bringing myself my own drink mixers to the aid stations next time, because I feel like that is not the first time I have had a pretty shit drink mix at an aid station. The biggest takeaway from this is the fact I can run by myself, and I can run by myself without music and stay on pace, because I had a lot of doubt in myself that I couldn't run and pace myself properly. I've always liked running with paces. Being able to now rely on myself is quite refreshing, and moving forward, that's a very good skill to have. Overall, Hawke's Bay Marathon 2025 was a great experience. I got third in my age group, 20 to 24. That's the first time I've had a age group placing in a race that wasn't a local fun run, which is very exciting. So that means a lot to me. I feel like I am constantly improving, and yeah, if you're not subscribed, I really would appreciate it if you guys subscribe, like the video, help the channel grow, and yeah, bring on the next challenge.
And now I'm in her room, boom, 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 boom. She told me come back soon, boom, 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 boom.